Well, let's get into our first topic now. Should we tag more criminals instead of sending them to jail? Get your calls in. 02078 862 2222. That's the number you need. The government is meeting with tech companies, including Google and Microsoft, today to explore how technology could help monitor offenders in the community. The Prisons Minister, Lord James Timpson, known for employing ex-offenders at his shoe repair shop, says tagging more people instead of locking them up could be a potential alternative punishment. Is it a good way to save prison spaces, or is it letting people off too easy? Russ, what do you reckon? Well, I mean, our prisons are full.
Yes.
They're over full.
They're
beyond capacity.
They are, and we have a country with an awful lot of criminals in it who, depending on who you believe, seem to get away with a lot. There is a very good case for more prisons, I think, and the government, therefore, would have to look very carefully at how they spend our tax money. But this whole idea of tagging people, I get why it's an interesting news story. I agree with it. After you've served a good proportion of your time in prison, and then you go through rehabilitation, that Lord Timpson quite rightly says is very important, and then you're assessed to see whether you should be allowed to come out of prison with a tag, whether it's a GPS, whether it's an alcohol one, depending on what you do. But I do think that if you commit a crime that is an imprisonable offence, then you should go to prison. If you get a tag, you could re-offend again and just go, or you could offend and go, well, if I get caught, I probably won't go to prison. I only get a tag anyway. I mean, what kind of system is that? It seems to me wrong.
I mean, technology's moving forward all the time, and what we're used to seeing with tags, they monitor your location. But now we're finding out, actually, just in the same way that my watch can tell me what my heartbeat is, can maybe sense all sorts of activities that I'm doing, we're going to be able to do more with tags than maybe we've done before. Do you not think that's a good case for saying, well, look, if it's, for instance, burglary, let's take that as an example. You can monitor not just where somebody is, but what they're up to in other ways, their heartbeat, that sort of thing. Is that too much?
I think it is. I mean, I firmly believe what I've said, but technology, of course, has its flaws. What happens if the whole tagging system is hacked and it's unusable, and you've got people who should be in prison are all running around going, oh, this isn't working, great, I'll go out and re-offend again. I mean, it sounds a bit far-fetched, but it could happen.
I mean, no technology is foolproof. There have been flaws in the tagging system and the way it's worked previously, people being able to ease them off or being able to cheat them. Is it soft, Jemma? Or is it the way forward?
It absolutely depends on the crime. Obviously, if somebody's committed a violent crime, you've got to be jailed for it 100%. So they'll be looking at this on a case-by-case basis. Labour have opened a new prison in East Yorkshire, but we've only got fewer than 1,000 places currently. I remember last year it was about 80. So they're making sort of a little bit of headway. You've got a few things to consider, overcrowding for one, and then you've got cost effectiveness to the taxpayer. So some kind of really efficient tagging system is cheaper for us, but also rehabilitation. Now, they say about 26% of prisoners re-offend. So there's an argument to say that if they are committing crimes perhaps out of desperation, because of addiction, because of circumstance, you might be able to be better rehabilitated by keeping your employment, keeping your connection to your family and keeping within your community.
Where's the message, though, there? Where's the message that you've done something wrong and something has to be taken away from you?
Well, the message is, if it's like, obviously there are certain crimes, absolutely go to prison if you are a threat to society. However, if you've done something that you might have been put in prison for, such as like shoplifting or something, and there are some root causes for that, I believe it is better. The other thing is, I think if I had a tag on, and you're right, I mean, he's meeting with all these tech giants, this isn't going to be like a shoplifting thing, you know, that you could rip off. Imagine the sense of sort of paranoia. I actually think that is a pretty grim thing. Yeah. Being in prison is worse, but also in prison, you're in contact with other criminals. You are more likely to be in contact with drugs, and there's organised crime.
Let's take some calls. Let's take some calls. I want to hear what you think about this. Ian's in Lancashire. What do you think? Tags, are they soft or are they the answer, Ian?
Tags are the answer. And the reason I said that is because just over 25 years ago, my university developed ankle tags that could not be removed. You couldn't hide, you couldn't take them off, it could track you down wherever you were. you could also zone areas so that if you said to a released prisoner, you may not enter near your ex-wife or spouse or whatever, you could set the zone up. And if they enter the zone, the speciality about our tags was we've developed them for the American military. They contained an inbuilt taser.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That is getting sort of next level dystopian, isn't it? A little bit, Ian. Somebody gets a little blast as a reminder that they're somewhere they shouldn't be.
Well, exactly the point. We tested them out at a prison more than over 25 years ago, and nobody left the zone after one time of being bitten in the ankle.
I mean, that feels like it could have human rights implications there, Ian. Do you not think that...
We always said at the very beginning when we developed it and presented it to the government as a means that they needed to withdraw from the European Human Rights Act immediately.
Okay.
That stops any argument, and it just says, you know, if you don't do as you're told when you're on release, or if you're in prison, like the one that's happened just recently, where the wardens were attacked and injured, wouldn't happen if they were tagged without a tag.
So that's tags in prison as a method of control. I think a lot of people will have a big problem with that. Then there's probably a lot of people who wouldn't.
Well,
let's take another call. Paul's in Merseyside. Paul, what do you think? Are tags a soft option?
Well, hi there. Yes, I think tagging is a soft option because, you know, if an offender is tagged, he can be here, there and everywhere committing a load of offences before the police eventually track him down and get hold of him.
I mean, surely the idea, Paul, is that they can't go everywhere. And as they become more technologically advanced, the alarm goes off somewhere and someone's straight onto them. And maybe then they go back to prison.
However advanced the technology is, if an offender decides to take it into his head, he's got to go out and commit more offences.
And then he's going back to prison, isn't he?
He's committed all sorts of offences before the police can get him and get him back in prison.
Yeah, it's a short-term strategy.
If he's in prison, he can't be committing offences against the public.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas if he's tagged, he can be committing offences against the public.
I'm not sure that's how it works. I'd love to hear from somebody that has had a tag on and how it's affected their behaviour. Thanks for that call, Paul. For more on crime tonight on 5, you can watch a brilliant new drama, The Trial, at 9 p.m. At 10 p.m, you can watch The Real Adolescents, Our Killer Kids, a documentary about the spike in young people being convicted of murder.